Okay, this is the Alabama Learning Exchange website. I don't know if you guys have been there. I know when I graduated from college, last year, they tell you about the ALEX website, but they don't show you where stuff is, and things have changed a little bit. So there's 4 main parts that I just wanted to show you guys today, just so that you are aware of where resources are available for all curriculum areas, all grade levels, lesson plans, ready to go, free stuff. If you go, I never remember the ALEX website, but it's alex.state.al.us. I just Google ALEX, and it's like the first one that pops up, the Alabama Learning Exchange. But if you go to the ALEX website, this is their home screen. You can create a personal workspace to tag yourself and bookmark certain lessons in, stuff that you can find later that will be easier for you to use and just pull up in class if you find something that you like. It's free, so you can just go in and create your own personal workspace. If you attend an ALEX workshop, you have to create a workspace. If you are interested in submitting things through ALEX, you will do that through the personal workspace. If you are interested in professional development opportunities through the ALEX program, those are all listed through here. Sarah and I just got back from one that basically went over the ALEX website in much more detail than I'm going to go through, and how to write and submit lessons through the website. There was a podcast camp that also ran simultaneously, but we didn't get to go to that one. So there's 4 parts that we're going to go over today: the courses of study, the learning assets, the lesson plans, and the podcast treasury. I believe the learning assets and podcast treasury are probably the newest parts of ALEX. I think they're a couple of years old, but they would be new to me. Learning assets are web-based programs. Things like, if you attended the one with Sarah Hillier, Padlet, Today's Meet, just quick, easy Google Docs, any kind of quick, easy program that can be implemented either cross-curricular or specific to your curriculum area. So the great thing about learning assets is it gives you the rundown of the web program with a link. They classify it into 3 parts, either as an opening for your lesson, or during your lesson, or a closing to your lesson. For example, Padlet is on there several times. Some as a beginner, go in and type in a sticky note about this, or as a exit slip for the closing of the lesson. But all of those are going to be web-based programs. They are not specific, detailed lesson plans. It's just about, here's this thing that's free online that you can use this way, or this way. Your lesson plans are detailed. Most of them have. If there's a document that needs to be attached, you can go in and they're all linked in. It's ready to go. It tells you the course of study objectives, everything specific that you need for the state of Alabama. In that lesson plan, a lot of them are written like you had to do in college, step by step, group students into groups of 4, and go through assign this role, all those step-by-step instructions. And then your podcast treasury are just podcasts that have been put together over across the state, different curriculum areas, and how they've been implemented in classes. The easiest thing to do, I know especially with math, that's my home team, so that's where I tend to go to, is the course of study. If you have a course of study objective that you're just struggling with how to find something to do in your classroom, words misaligned. You can go through and specify, if you're obviously at the secondary level, we are specific to algebra, geometry, algebra 2, all that good stuff. You can go in and it'll pull up the course of study, maybe. I think the board's off anyway. And it'll pull up the all of your course of study objectives and things, and it will tell you how many resources are available for that specific objective. Now, most of these lessons and the web-based tools will overlap into other objectives, but if you have one, the number line, or something that's just a little bit harder to find something to do interactive, you can go in and search that specifically for that particular strand and its objective for the course of study. The good thing about the lessons that are available on ALEX is that they have to go through a very lengthy approval process. So it's not just some random lesson plan that was uploaded and nobody ever took a look at it. They have to go in, there's a process. We actually had to submit a lesson asset while we were at that PD. It goes through a process, it's read by someone, they always send it back for improvements, and then you resubmit it before it's actually approved and put on the website. I don't know how difficult it is to get something approved, but you can, they all have been looked at. They're not just uploaded by any random person. So you're not filtering through a bunch of junk. The learning assets are also specific to content area and or grade breakdown. You go in and look at science. Let's do 9th grade. It breaks it down into the different curriculum areas. We have biology on this campus. And then the phases, if you're just looking for something to launch a lesson, you can look for an opening. If you're looking for the core, something to implement to go along with what you're teaching, you do the lesson core. And then the closing is if your exit slip, kind of end of the day, wrapping it up. You can display the results, and all of these are web-based tools. Everything comes off of the web tool. It tells you how it's used. I don't know much about Google Plants. They go in and they give you the link to the website that they're talking about. They describe the tool and how it's used. This is an opening, so this is something that you would use to launch this particular objective. And it gives you advanced preparation, things that you need to do to kind of get ready before your kids get in. And there are tips and recommendations. Not all of these are always filled in, but if this person submitting those found that, this link works great, except for this particular link part is broken or something like that, you'll find all of that information here. But all of these are web-based tools. They're not broken down by like specific lesson plans. So if you're just looking for some app out there that you can use, those are available.
So they do not have Word documents or anything that goes.
Some of them do. Most of your learning assets just give you the URLs of whatever's being used. Like Padlet appears several times in the learning assets in different curriculum areas.
Yeah.
So today's Meet was another one that shows up quite a bit. But some of them have, like their interactive algebra tiles. You may find those in the math section, and how to launch them with this particular lesson. Almost all of these are specifically web-based,
Right.
so that you're not going to find a lot of additional documentation to go with them. Now, if you're looking for something like that, you can go to the lesson plans. Let's see, you're 8th science, right?
I've just tried to use it before, and I was just confused, like how to use it to what it's for, I guess.
It's literally just kind of it's not an open website because everything does have to be approved before it's posted on there, but it's like a free sharing. Several people have mentioned like teachers pay teachers. This is all free. So like if you go in and Mr. Alka-Seltzer Plus and take a peek at this was submitted from someone at Tuskegee University. It gives you the overview of the lesson, the content standard breakdown, what you're covering, your time, materials that you're going to need, background information for teachers, just something that they may have noticed that you didn't, that they may have noticed along the way that no one warned them about. And then down below is where you'll find, they've got the lab rubric.
Okay, that's what I was talking about. See, I didn't know some of them had stuff like that.
Most of your lesson plans do.
Lesson plans.
So if you go to the lesson plan link, that's where you'll find a lot of that. And then they actually go in and break down assessment strategies. That is required. This one, for example, actually has a YouTube link to go in for a quick and easy tutorial. I mean, a lot of these go really in depth. So it's a great resource. Like I said, it's one that I knew existed but didn't know how to use until I went to this thing. And once we got in there and started clicking around, I'm like, good grief. I mean, you can literally pull weeks worth of stuff for your classroom off of this. People have already tried it. They give you, hey, we did groups of 6. That was a terrible idea. So you get some feedback ahead of the game to know whether or not it's really going to work. So those are the lesson plans. And like I said, when you go and do the lesson plans, it breaks down. Now, these are not all web-based. So, a lot of these, if you're looking to put the laptop away and just deal with hands-on experiments or activities that have documentation to go with them, you have those. Everything, all of your subject areas are there, grade level. There's character education and guidance counseling for our, other side of our faculty. If they're interested, grade levels, all that good stuff is there. The only other area, let's see, we did courses of study, learning assets, your lesson plans, and then your podcast treasury. These are just podcasts that have been put together. You can still search them by breakdown for particular subject areas, or even like there's a professional development one or a technology education one if you're interested in just doing some professional development. These are the content partners. Some of these, they're just kind of neat to click on. The McWane Science Center is, just a quick link to those. But you can go to podcast search and you get that same screen. I'm looking for something. You guys are all math and science, so let's do 8th grade. So multiplying and dividing monomials. And this is something that was put together by a classroom teacher. Purpose is to explain the rules for multiplying. They have a link here for, this one actually is linked to a previous lesson plan. So they have the lesson plan there, and then they also have a podcast to go with it. And just to give you this one's 1 minute and 52 seconds. You can download this. I don't know if I have any sound. I'm going to turn this up and layer sound. You may have to double click on it. But it gives you the option to download the video if you don't want to stream it live, as we have seen with the announcements and other YouTube issues. Streaming live slows down, especially if there's more than one classroom doing it. So you get the option to download the video to your desktop. That way it's there. You're not going to have anything wrong with it. You can just pull it up every single class and play it. It'll go ahead and buffer ahead of time. But that goes along with the particular lesson plan that they had about exponent rules. So, a lot of times I found in the math classroom, especially, it may be in all classrooms, I don't know, I just know the math classroom, I can tell the students something, and then April Harris can come in right behind me and tell them the exact same thing word for word, and for some reason they get it from her mouth instead of mine. So it's just another, you can't always go pull a teacher and say, hey, will you come in and explain the rules of exponents for me? Gives you another voice in your classroom. So those are the main areas of ALEKS that you would use in your class. There's searches that you can do. ALEKSville, we didn't really go over ALEKSville a lot. It's like a little community, I guess, that you can go in and click around. I think there's a blog site in there somewhere, teachers just kind of experimenting, talking, things like that, about activities that they've done in their classroom. Like I said, the professional learning, you can go in and look at ALEKS training. There's a couple of little short links down here to the College Career Readiness Standards, which ALEKS training, if you're interested in doing an ALEKS training, I'll tell you that when you go to ALEKS trainings, part of that training is that you do present something to your faculty. Whatever it may be, the podcast, they've got several coming up. Web-based tools for teaching and learning is another one that we took a look at. They were all kind of tied in together. Podcast camp. We did the ALEKS Navigator training. We did the web-based tools. There were 3. I don't remember what they were, but we've got iPad Power Up for teachers. Incorporating video into the classroom was the other one that we looked at. So they all really overlapped. Everything, like I said, can go back to that homepage. So just wanted to share another resource. Some parts of it are technologically based, others are not. Good old-fashioned hands-on learning. So just wanted to make you guys aware of that resource and how to use it. Like I said, they've told us about it forever. I've always said, just go to the ALEKS website, but I don't know where to go from there.
I think I used it in an online class the other day.
Yeah.
I've never used it, but I've heard about it over and over and over again.
There's a lot of stuff in there.
I think I got overwhelmed when I first went to it.
It
And I was just like, I don't know how to
very
use it or where to do with it.
The easiest way to break it down is to go and use the courses of study.
Yeah, I put out my course of study that one time for forensics, and I
Other
randomly taught it.
BBC, that's
Because I
two
didn't have
solutions.
physics in college.
Yeah. So it's a good place if you're looking, especially April, May, when you get down and you realize I've covered all of my objectives except for this one and I don't really know what to do. It just gives you some options. So, do y'all have any questions for me?